Greetings, this is the Timeshare Traveler. Today is episode 180, 180, Marriott's New Year's resolutions. So what I'm going to talk about is my favorite features I'm going to use in 2024. And then the other option is use points in Vistana or Marriott ABOUND. So I have both Vistana and Marriott, so I can decide to use which way I want to decide. The next thing is I'm going to use Bonvoy points for timeshare experiences, and I can do that in multiple ways. But I want to make sure you talk about that because you have to look at Marriott from both the hotel side and the timeshare side because they both add value for you. Then my next question, which is, hey, should I upgrade or not? And then maintenance fees went up 15% into 2024, roughly. But before I go into that detail, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my channel. Hang in there. I'll be right back to go into all this useful information for 2024. Hi, this is Cliff, and I'm the Timeshare Traveler. Welcome to my channel. The purpose of my channel is to educate those who love traveling in timeshares. I've been an owner for 15 plus years at Timeshare Ownership. I have elite ownership with Marriott, Hilton, and Worldmark. I have published over 100 timeshare video reviews, and I've published over 95 timeshare tips. I can be found on Facebook at Timeshare Trav, at Twitter, Timeshare Trav, and on the web at www.timesharetraveler.com. Well, I'm back, and now I'm going to talk about my favorite features. And I hope it's obvious, but one of the favorite features is using the resorts themselves, and I plan to do that. I actually plan to do a little more of the Marriott resorts. I've been a Vistana owner for much longer, probably over 15 years, maybe getting close to 20 now. And Marriott, I've only really been 5 to 6 years, so I'm taking advantage of. Last year I opted into my points in the Marriott, and I actually rolled them into 2024, so I have quite a few points, but I plan to do the Marriott locations. So that's just happens to be my perspective. If you happen to be a Marriott person, maybe this year your New Year's resolution should be to look at some of the Vistana, which is the Sheraton and Westin properties. So I'm going to compare costs, and I base it on maintenance fees and so forth of using the Vistana sites via ABOUND or via Vistana, and there's also some inventory. So I'm going to mess with that in 2024 because I opted in 2023 and didn't opt in, so I have both capabilities available to me. So I'm going to try to get a sense of what I should do going forward. And the last thing is, I'll talk about this a little more in detail as well as my comparison, is I'm going to use the Bonvoy points, and I've used them to sort of rent timeshares using points, short stays. I have over 1 million points, and I often rent residence in locations for Timeshare Light, which is it's a hotel with a kitchen. So and they have many of the same features, probably not as elegant, but there are many more of them. So I kind of view, based on having a timeshare life, that if I stay in a hotel, I like to stay in a hotel with kitchen. So I often do the residence in. My big question for 2024 is, should I use my points in Vistana or Marriott ABOUND? So in 2023, I opted in, which meant I took all my Vistana points and moved into ABOUND, and that was because I had over 10 years with Vistana and not only a couple years with Marriott, and so I assumed I wanted to use more of my points in the Marriott system. So I lumped all my points together, took advantage of that, and I did do more Marriott locations. But in 2024, I want to take a different tact. I actually did not opt in, which meant I have my points I own in Vistana's network, and then I have the ABOUND points that I get there, and I also rolled some of my points in, so I have quite a few points in ABOUND and what I always had in Vistana. So I'm going to compare this year in 2024. I want to optimize to see which options cost less in maintenance fees. So I calculate based on how many points I have, what they're actually worth from a dollar's perspective. And then we'll determine what path to follow in 2025 based on what 2023 was like and what 2024 is like. I'll get a sense of what I want to do in 2025. And again, I'm going to pick the lowest cost option for staying at the locations I like. Next up is the use Bonvoy points for timeshare experience. There's a couple things here. Bonvoy points can be timeshare light, and what that means is hotels with kitchens available for use using rewards points. The Bonvoy points. and it varies based on location. And Bonvoy lets you rent homes as well. So that's one of the other things is I may want to consider doing that. I have over 1 million points. So large get-togethers for family allows me to use homes. And also you can book the timeshares. I've used that situation when I'm like staying 1 or 2 nights. You can actually book the timeshare for 1 night, and that's better than sometimes using your ABOUND points. So I find it to be a very valuable option. And again, don't think people take advantage of the Bonvoy points enough. I always take the points whenever I ever do an owner update, and that's how I basically able to do that. Plus, I have all the credit cards, so those are the ways I get the points. So just my regular shopping ends up with more Bonvoy points and free night stay. Again, always take the Bonvoy or destination points for time when you do a timeshare presentation. The question you always think about: should I upgrade or not? First of all, I'm happy where I am. I have enough points where I earn platinum status in Marriott. So that means I can get free food. So it's all about the food, So not much is changing in 2024. They're still saying more, and they're combining. There's some discussion about the Hyatt maybe being, but I don't see anything formal. So until it's formal, to me, it doesn't exist. There are, I think, ongoing. There's always a few sites that they're working on. I'm not completely sure where the next one is, but they're doing that. That's something to look at. So my option is I'm not likely to upgrade based on the high costs and maintenance fees and the fact that I'll talk about that next, the increase. My other option is to look at is maybe I'll buy used or resale. And the only reason I say that is I'm actually at the level that I want from benefits. Maybe I could get a little bit higher and do the one thing I don't have that maybe would work is from 9 months out. I can't, up until 9 months out, I can't book more than, I have to book a week. Beyond that, and if I'm at the next level, I get to book a few days even if I book it way out. So that's possibly an advantage of that. The critical issue for me also is being able to rent unused points for more than maintenance, and that's just really not that I'm trying to create a business. I just want to have a stopgap when years when I'm not traveling. I want to be able to make sure I cover my costs and not lose points. So I've tried koala service over Christmas and it did not rent out. That was in Hawaii, so I thought that was a little unusual, but I got to do some more research. I'm just learning this right now, and I won't upgrade until I can rent out unused points because I don't want to put myself in a position where I'm spending money not using it for whatever reason, and then not being able to do anything with it. Anyway, on to the next point. The last point, which isn't a fun point, the maintenance fees went up 15%. And I know we had inflation, but inflation wasn't 15%. So, and all the timeshares had higher increases this year. Marriott fees are up 15%, which is huge compared to Hilton, which I saw 8%, and Worldmark was 6%, and that 6% included a special assessment they had this year, which is the first time in 10 years that I've had a special assessment, so that I would say it doesn't happen that often. So they're normally 5% or less. And the other thing is Marriott continues to be the most cost prohibitive timeshare. And examples here I'm using in peak season. I have a spreadsheet that tracks an average night per stay based on a week in a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom studio, a 3-bedroom as well. And again, I use the best guess. The points are all different based on various different times of the year and so forth. So I try to be as fair to everybody as I can be. So I was looking at peak seasons here. And a 1-bedroom at Marriott is $315 a night. Worldmark's $113, which is like almost a third. And Hilton somewhere about a half at $166. Now you can have a debate about the quality, value, and all that, but those are the numbers. The 2-bedroom, it's even more astounding because Marriott is $505 for the average 2-bedroom. Worldmark, and this again peak season. I didn't use Ocean View, but Worldmark is $142, which is literally a third, I believe, if I did my math real quick in my head, or even less than a third. And Hilton comes in under less than half as well. So similar, they're similar in terms of the 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, but still Hilton is half. And to me, the qualities in Hilton is similar. They do have the diamond resorts that aren't quite the same, but I'm finding in general they're similar. So that's my challenge with Marriott is from a cost benefit analysis. I feel more comfortable with Hilton, and obviously the low cost of WorldMark makes that attractive, even if the locations aren't quite as nice. Anyway, hope you like the New Year's resolutions, and don't forget to give it a like. And if you haven't subscribed, don't forget to subscribe. Happy traveling.